During our second social psychology practical session, our psychology tutorial group conducted an experiment to investigate how people react to group behavior and whether they will conform to fit in. We decided to recreate a social experiment on conformity. We chose this experiment because the subject matter was relevant to our lives and the experiment could be done in a tutorial session. In the original experiment, a test subject entered a waiting room full of actors who were directed to stand up every time a beep went off. At first, everyone except the test subject stood, but after only 3 beeps, the subject began to stand with everyone else, despite the fact that she had no idea why they were standing. Even after all the actors in the room left, she continued to keep standing as the beep went off. When other unaware test subjects entered the room, they copied the first subject and stood at the beep. Even after everyone who was in on the experiment had left, the woman continued to stand for the beep and got the other test subjects to stand up as well. She had conformed to the social norm and was enforcing it on others even though she wasn't aware why she was standing every time she heard the beep. We conducted our experiment on a fellow student who had missed the first tutorial and was unaware of the experiment. We asked our tutor to conduct the second tutorial as if we were doing a review of Trevor Noah's book. We decided beforehand that we would stand up every time someone said the word Trevor, then sit back down. Our entire tutorial group, including our tutor, stood up every time the word Trevor was said. A few members of the group remained outside and came in about 10 minutes late. This was so that someone could feign confusion and get the test subject to clarify what was going on. At first, the subject was incredibly confused. Slowly, he began to half stand up with the group until eventually he stood up fully when he heard the word Trevor, unprompted by anyone else. When asked why he had stood up, the subject said that he didn't want to look stupid and that we were all doing it, so he thought he had to do it as well. Group roles. The group consists of 12 members with different roles. Our test subject was TSHIDISO MOFOKENG. RUFARO, MABIZA and SULIZE were responsible for taking the video from different angles. They volunteered because they felt confident they could take the video without being noticed. WEZILE NXUMALO, TSHEPISO MANAKA, Ayanda Msibi, Lily Mae Roberts, and SINOXOLO SKEYI were part of the first group that reacted to the signal. SISIPHO NDIBAZA, DEVEDINE ARMSTRONG and LUNGISA DURUWE formed the last group, which entered the class a few minutes late. Flavia Balios, our tutor, also participated in the experiment. She conducted the tutorial discussion on Trevor Noah and made sure that TSHIDISO came to the tutorial. Hypothesis. We hypothesized that the subject would be at first confused as to why everyone stood up at the mention of the name Trevor, which would cause reluctance and cognitive dissonance, but that the subject would eventually join the rest of the group. According to Bernheim, in practice, the degree of conformity and persistence of norms vary greatly over activities. Although there was a possibility that the subject would not conform, we posited that he would more likely choose to join the group. This is how the experiment went in practice.
I don't know, I'm starting to make the link, but have you guys kind of made the link between, apartheid and social psychology? Like, do you guys see what's happening?
Your practical assignment, as you guys know, is on Trevor Noah.
Basically, how far you guys like Trevor Noah's voice is just so like you can listen to it. Like it's talks a lot about like Trevor's mother. So basically, and it's also within, it's like very situated within an apartheid context, where does Trevor sit in that?
I actually looked at, I was looking at Trevor Noah's video stuff, and then we actually came across time I had an interview with him. No, ja. Eller det.
In the beginning, Trevor basically speaks a lot about how like I don't know. I think Trevor even said the perfect laughing or the perfect instance of racism. But it can also
I do think you guys should do a cheeky debriefing here. So I think you should tell your classmates exactly what just happened.
Okay.
Shucks, it's Leon. Oh man.
Why did you stand? Yes. But when did we stand?
When you started standing up at first, I was like, nah,
in all fairness,
this must be something for my DP or something.
But when did you start realize? Did you not realize when we started standing up? Did we not
Was there a signal?
There was a signal.
That was saying that then stand. Did you notice?
After the incident, that's when I was like, nah, I think I should.
Guys don't have to dance, by the way.
We came late on purpose.
Yeah.
Because we knew you were going
But
to
you noticed that every time someone said Trevor, no one would stand. Did you catch it?
I couldn't even speak. I wanted to talk about you so much.
Defining the concepts. 1. Saul McLeod. According to Saul McLeod, conformity is a social influence that involves a change in belief and behavior in order to be able to fit in with a group. What influences this change in belief and behavior are often external factors such as the presence of others and internal influences such as wanting to be normal and to abide by the social pressures and norms expected from an individual. 2. Solomon Asch. Conformity can be defined as yielding to group pressures or as a type of social influence involving a change in belief or behavior in order to fit in with the group. This change can happen due to group pressure resulting from the real or imagined presence of others. Solomon Asch suggests two types of conformity: normative conformity, in which a person conforms because they want to fit in with a group, and informational conformity, where someone conforms because they believe the group is better informed than they are. 3. Kiesler and Kiesler. Kiesler and Kiesler state that labeling people as conformers may encourage us to let value judgments intrude into our thinking. The group wanted the target to react and follow the crowd. This definition shows how the target has to be encouraged in order to do what the others are doing. We believe the definition that best describes our experiment is Ash's theory. This is because both normative conformity and informational conformity played a role in this experiment. When forming a hypothesis, we focused on normative conformity and posited that the subject would conform with the aim of fitting in with the group out of fear of rejection, even if he did not agree with our actions. TSHIDISO explained that he conformed because everyone else was doing it, but also because he felt that the group knew something he did not, and he even thought maybe standing up was a DP requirement. This shows the role of both normative conformity and informational conformity in his actions. Ash conducted a similar conformity experiment in which a test subject had to judge the length of a line on paper in comparison with that of another line. This was done in a room with 7 other participants who were in on the experiment and purposefully gave wrong answers in the presence of the subject. In Ash's experiment, the subjects conformed to the incorrect answers 75% of the time. After the experiment, some of the naive participants stated that they did not believe the other students' answers, but conformed anyway because of the fear of being ridiculed. Although the theory is easily proven in practice, it has weaknesses. It has been generalized based on the behavior of Western males in Ash's studies, and it cannot be applied to all types of behavior in different contexts. The results are not uniform in practice and depend on societal factors to a large extent. Reflection. It was not difficult working together as a group, since we have grown close over the course of the first term and our tutorial group is cohesive. Choosing our group leader came naturally, and everyone agreed because she is good at managing time and works well in advance, so we knew we would have everything done on time. The decision-making process can be described as brainstorming because every member of the group had input and we could challenge ideas to find the best one. Since we had become comfortable with each other, there was low evaluation apprehension. There was no conflict within the group. We all had a great sense of humor and cooperated with one another. We decided how to share the workload in a single tutorial session. Everyone performed their role, sharing the work was fair, and our tutorial mate was a gracious test subject.